the meeting till we told to have problems.
Well,
Until we need problems, gosh.
well, no, we're gonna do one voting and non-voting.
It's back then, to Mondo.
Because when that one came off, you're gonna see the small.
Okay.
But come off, so I have one on the wall.
Okay.
I know that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call for the record. Mayor Lindsay. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Crane.
Here.
Councilor Howe.
Here.
Councilor Weeks.
Here.
And Councilor Curry.
Here.
We have a quorum. You may proceed.
At this time, I'd ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda with one modification. Item M will be continued on to the next meeting.
I'll second. N or M, sorry.
M as in Mary. I'm assuming that note is correct.
Yes, M is correct.
Thank
Who
you.
did the second?
I did.
Thank you.
Is it, it's in?
Yeah, it is in there.
M, it should be, the wildfire protection.
Yeah, in.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I thought you said L.
Sorry about that, Mr. Ransom. All in favor? This time, I'd ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Did we have anybody that wanted to address us this evening? Okay. We'll move on to any announcements and proclamations by the council.
One thing I heard today, and it was from one of the fishing guides, so I'm not trying to contribute to the rumor mill, but I'm hearing there may be some fishing closures happening over at Eagle Nest Lake due to the levels over there. Obviously, the state runs that, and it's their doing, but we would just like to make sure that economic considerations are taken in. If there's anything we could do to keep our tourists happy over the summer and keep the fish going, that would certainly be better. I know I spoke to Manager Weir about it earlier, so if we could minimize the impacts, that would be something I think would be worthy of our efforts.
Manager Weir?
Mr. Mayor, Council, yes, if you'd like me to contact the Director of State Parks or whatever, they are planning on closing Eagle Nest Lake to all boating traffic due to the water levels. In the past, my experience was that they closed the boat ramps due to low water, but they didn't actually close the lake. But what they're talking about now is closing the lake to all boat traffic. So that would be, it could have a significant impact on the tourism dollars, especially for Eagle Nest and Colfax County and us as well.
Last tournament was canceled too, wasn't it? The fishing tournament, the winter fishing tournament was also canceled, wasn't it?
It was, but that was because there was no ice.
Well, yeah, but that's what, it's a double whammy.
Yeah.
Counselor Howe?
Mr. Mayor, the Roads Committee met yesterday. We talked about arterial and collector roads. We talked about establishing criteria for roads, water, and sewer project prioritization. We received a briefing on the village streets budget from past budgets to give us an idea how much money there might be available this year. We prioritized 5 roads to recommend as the arterial roads, and we talked about the ICIP priorities. So
Fantastic.
we're going to meet again in a work session on June 22nd, and our next meeting is July 13th.
Okay. Thank you, Counselor. I think that does it for our proclamation by the council, so we'll move into director reports. We can start with Shay Tiblish, our Parks and Rec Director.
Good evening. Trash to Treasures is getting ready to start up on June 22nd at the Community Center. The event itself is the 3rd and 5th of July, and then the center will reopen to the public on the 6th or 7th, I think the 7th actually. They'll close and clean up on the 6th and be out by 4. For the camp, the summer camp, I did not get staff hired for it. I'm keeping it posted, hoping that maybe I'll get somebody to apply. And maybe at least have it in 1 month in July, just, yeah, to have it a little bit this year. The Allen Fields, the RFP is out for the lights and closes on June 23rd at 2 p.m. The Recreation and Trails Committee and Consensus Planning and the community have been working on a master plan for the Allen Fields. That's later on the agenda, so I'll go into that a little bit more. The Frank Young Trail is on hold, and we're looking to use the Trails Plus grant for another trail at the Allen Fields, and that's kind of part of the master plan, so I'll go over that a little later too. This weekend we have a softball tournament. We have about 8 teams, which is the maximum that we could do right now for a day tournament on the 2 fields with no lights, so that's good. That it'll bring out a decent amount of people. I am concerned about the road closures that I heard are gonna be happening. I guess I didn't realize it's on the Eagle Nest side and this side, and I have a bunch of teams coming from Taos and other places, and so I believe someone from Taos, and I don't know if anyone else knows this, had said to me that they were looking to close the roads on the 11th and 12th for 5 to 6 hours that day, both days.
From what I've seen, that's the southern route. They are expecting extended closures to the south. I don't think the closures are as long over Palo Planchado, but I could have that problem.
Well, I'm gonna double check that, because usually they send us something, and I didn't see that, but, and I don't think you did, because you usually forward it to me. But I'll look at it again, but I'm pretty sure what he forwarded me, it said for here, and I just kinda wanted to make that known that might be happening Friday, you know, and then, because it affects, they can't get here on either side. So, I guess we'll see with that and then the other activities. Let's see, what else?
Yeah.
Next, I have 2 other tournaments this month. I have one next weekend, another 1-day tournament, and then a 2-day tournament on the 27th and the 28th. And that's all I have right now. Any questions?
Those, the teams on those tournaments, are they coming locally or are they coming from?
Most of them come, well, we get some from Espanola, we get some from Taos, Raton, Cimarron, and then once in a while we'll have a local team. So that's where most of them come for these 1-day tournaments. Okay. Thank you.
Next this evening, we have our Public Works Director, Kurt Epler.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, Clerk Strickland, Manager Weir. Quick update on Public Works, Streets Department, last week completed a new emergency egress for the event center, and also did some work on the, forget the name of the road, is it Fuego Road that comes from Fire Department in to try to get that to drain better, get set up for the upcoming events. Have streets personnel helping erect the new stage cover today and tomorrow, and had blades out on the road with the water truck fixing hot spots. And I was working on workforce housing, doing some rough grading myself today. Water department, sorry, is there any questions on streets? Okay. Water department, the meter install crew to date has installed 74 new meter full can replacements, moving at a pretty good pace, doing a real good job. So we're on track to complete that contract to 204, probably early August. Water department is continuing with normal rounds. A few more leaks showed up. We'll be addressing those over the next couple of days. In solid waste, the scales are now fully functional and operational. We'll be having pricing established in a resolution today. The goal is that we'll start utilizing those scales for the public on a daily basis, starting at the beginning of the fiscal year, July 1. I want to spend the next couple of weeks working with some customers, kind of, getting trained up, making sure we got all the bugs worked out. And so far it looks like a pretty simple system, seems to be functioning well. And forward to doing that, and again, we'll be presenting pricing and presenting a resolution for pricing a little later on in today's meeting. Any questions?
Director?
Public Works? Yes, sir.
On the scales, when we come in there, what's the break point for a vehicle that uses the scales versus the ones that don't? Like if I come in in my pickup and have several bags of,
Household trash?
household trash,
Probably what we're looking at, and it'll take some signage, it did have some discussion with this, with Mr. Gully about this, about having signage where if somebody is just bringing household trash, to go ahead and bypass the scales, cause household trash is not something that they've been charging for.
yeah,
It's more the material, construction waste, other material that, yard waste, everything that in the past
Right,
they
okay.
charged for by the yard.
alright,
You know, traditionally, if people have gone up there with household trash, they don't get charged for it.
What about like old furniture is one I commonly see where it's quite a large volume, but, you know, maybe an old TV stand or something that's not very heavy.
Well, and you'll see in the pricing, we'll still have pricing for what's called problematic solid waste, your refrigerators, mattresses, appliances, things like that. These are things that we receive either an extra charge at the landfill or have extra handling on our end to take them to the recycler. So those items will be charged by weight plus the individual item as well.
okay.
So in order for me to just read through the rates, I do wanna go ahead and say we did decide to come up with one rate for tonnage. Okay, even though there are multiple items that they've been taking by the cubic yard, priced differently. I think for ease and convenience, we're just gonna have one price per ton. And then additive would be if there's a problematic solid waste item.
Is a ton a minimum? Is there like a minimum?
20 pounds. Yeah. Which would be what's 1% of 9250?
Mr. Mayor, Council, I will tell you that, our initial price on this, is probably gonna, or it might come in a little high as compared to, the way things are measured, previously. But our ordinance doesn't have any restrictions on us lowering prices. But once we put a price in place, our ordinance prevents us from increasing it greater than CPI. So we need to come in high, get a feel, and then we may back the price down a little bit. Of course, we would come to you for approval for any of that. But I just want to let you know that's kind of a strategy we've looked at this, so. It's just because it's new and we don't know exactly what the apples to apples comparison is gonna be.
Well, you know, I would say that the majority of the loads are probably gonna come in pretty even, if not even a little bit lower, when charged at a rate by the yard. You know, some bulky loads, pine needles for instance, when they were taking them there, they're charging that by the yard, could get really expensive where you weigh them, pine needles don't weigh much. So I think there's gonna be a pretty good balance. Had some concerns as, you know, we do take, waste concrete, waste soil, stuff like that. But the amount that we get brought in is so minimal, that I think it's all gonna balance out pretty good.
Backing up to the water department, I was hoping you might fill everybody in on that special mission that the water department ran over to, was it Sarah, was it?
Yes.
Could you fill us in on that?
Yeah, I believe it was last Thursday, I get a early morning call from, one of our water department staff members, Nathan. You'd seen on Facebook, there's a community, a small, water authority over in the Quest area in Settle that declared a state of emergency. They couldn't get water in their tanks, they couldn't get anything working. This is what the Post said. They were on the verge of you know, mobilizing the National Guard, all of that good stuff. So Nathan and Evan and Logan came into my office at 7 and asked if they could go over and see if they could help those folks resolve the situation. And I'll just keep it short. They were able to go over and solve an issue with their well. It was turning off as soon as it would generate head, as soon as they would open up the valve, the pump would shut off. Nathan did a little workup on it and got it working and got those people water.
They've been with water for what, without water for almost 10 days?
Yeah.
And was it my understanding too that there had been other municipalities that have even gone over and attempted to make some repairs?
There were some other folks there. Let me pick my words wisely. I'm very proud of how the guys acted over there and what they were able to accomplish. You know, unfortunately, they have some challenges as their well isn't fully vetted and certified. They have to get that series of tests that takes 6 weeks, so they still have some challenges with their water. But I just, you know, it's pretty commendable. The guys went over there and did what they do.
Yeah.
Pulled it off.
I thought it was a good testament to them, just not only wanting to and willing to help out, but also being able to resolve it so quickly and get those folks with water again. So I'm just proud and glad to have them working on our stuff on a daily basis.
One thing it allowed them to see is how fortunate they are here in the village of Angel Fire. The small water authorities have $0. You know, of course, none of their members ever want their water rates increased by CPI, so they really struggle with getting funding and getting things fixed, and unfortunately there's a lot of small water authorities like that around the state of New Mexico that are in dire need, and hopefully you know, new governor will continue to address some of those things as our current governor has attempted to over the last 8 years. So, but I was really proud of the guys, very, very proud of them. Yeah.
Thank you very much. This evening is our finance director, Adrian Rendon.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, Manager Mayor, and Clerk Strickland. Try to keep this brief, but I do actually have a few things for you tonight. First and foremost, I'll start with the audit. We've started working with our auditors ahead of this year's audit. Right now, all that means is that we're sharing documentation, answering your questions, how we do things. The audit won't actually take place until probably September or October. So this is just all the lead-in work. We did have findings last year, and so they've already started to ask about that, and so far that's been going really well. So a lot of the remediation efforts that we put forward we think are going to pay off, and we're going to clear some of those findings this year. So yeah, 27 budget, the interim budget for the fiscal year has already been submitted to the state. It went in on time, and so between now and July 31st we just have to go ahead and work up the final budget. So we're going to be holding working sessions with directors, department chiefs to build out and then present it to the public and village leadership before we submit the final version, which is due on the 31st. It's one thing that's worth flagging in the budget is that even with 2 years in a row of challenging snow season, we still managed to work in a 2% pay bump increase, and I know that we had several people who were involved in that decision, so we're very happy about that. They're going to be merit-based, tied to performance, not an across-the-board, just cost of living bump. And we'll just continue to monitor, see how the year goes, and what revenues do, and maybe other opportunities open up for us. A couple of dates that I'd like to bring to Council's attention. June 25th, we're looking at doing a working session for budget, and that's tying back to what I was just talking about, the fiscal year 27 budget, so it's going to give a chance for the public to hear that and weigh in. So let me see, June 15th, another work session that's specifically just so that if you have any questions concerning the vendor OpenGov, they're the ones that we're looking at for replacing the, basically the financial, we call it an ERP. It's an enterprise resource planner. It's the financial system that kind of runs everything. And the one that we're using is, it's in dire need of replacement, but that's not a decision that we can make lightly. There's a lot of work that goes into moving from one ERP to another, and plus, I mean, there's cost involved as well. So we'd like to have a session to basically Q&A with you all, and we're gonna invite the vendor to that so that they can answer those questions.
Which one is that? What date?
That one is June 15th. And so, I don't, did we set the time on that one yet? I think it was 2 o'clock.
That one's at 2.
2 o'clock. So, and July 28th, that'll be the evening where I'll be bringing you the actual final budget. That should be pretty quick, because by then, we've already got it all hashed out. It's just me bringing it before council, so that you can approve it, and then we submit it to the state. And I stand for any questions.
Sure, thank you. Finally, this evening with our director reports is our tourism director, Greg Rao.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, Manager Ware, Clerk Strickland. The Tourism Director report, I'd like to cover our advertising performance that we've gotten since we started and resumed advertising June 23rd. I gave you a full packet of the performance. I'm not gonna go into that detail. We'll get that in Rogers Committee meeting tomorrow, or Rogers Board meeting tomorrow. I've got the highlights here I can summarize for you and not keep everybody waiting all evening. We started advertising, we had about a $60,000 budget to resume advertising for this summer. We started on April 23rd. We went in a little early. Temperatures were heating up, people were starting to plan vacations, so we wanted to be in market at that time. Our total summer booking referrals that we've received from that advertising for the first few weeks, for the first month or so, has been 2,000 prior booking referrals. Prior to our advertising on the 23rd, we only had 50 bookings on the books for summer, 50 reservations on the books for summer. So we started advertising, we picked up almost 2,000, 1,950. For a total of 2,000 booking referrals. Of those, 1,600 were from paid advertising, trackable paid advertising. Of those 2,000, 1,600 could be tracked to Facebook, Instagram, Google search, and our connected television ads. So the television ads we run. And we're running this campaign in just 2 markets right now, Dallas and Albuquerque. Those are ones we could afford. You'll see in that performance report, the bookings are coming out of Dallas, Fort Worth, all the towns in that area. Still Texas is strong as can be. Albuquerque's in there. Houston's performing well. And the weird one that pops up, and we don't spend a dime there, is Phoenix. Phoenix is our 5th or 6th booking market. It came in last year strong. It was an evolving market last year, a new one. We're still seeing it perform. The only thing we're finding out is we think that the Arizona market, the people in Phoenix and Tucson and so forth know their mountains already, and they're exploring new areas. So they're heading to New Mexico. I think a lot of the state efforts helping us reach that market, because the state is doing advertising in the Phoenix and Tucson area. So we may be getting something on riding their coattails, so to speak. So it can be assumed that the other 400 bookings that came in were influenced by the paid ads. So if someone sees a TV ad and they don't click on something right away, they may go to Google to search for it later. But we're assuming those 400 organic bookings that make the 2,000 a result of the paid advertising. Google, when we started advertising, our booking referral cost was about $18 for each booking, but that we were early in the market. Right now it's about $8 per booking is what our Google costs. So an average of there 16. Meta or the Facebook, Instagram combo, social media is $19 per booking cost. The CTV, our television ads, as we know, are more expensive, that's $47 per booking cost. And when I say per booking, that's a lodging reservation, average is a little over 2 nights, and it's a little over $500. It's like $561. So a $47 investment to get a $571 reservation isn't bad, knowing that they're gonna spend other money when they get here on JRT and other things. So I don't think our acquisition costs are expensive, especially when we're looking at destination marketing. Website has picked up quite a bit from December 23rd. We are at 800 sessions per week, unique visitors per week. We were at 800 before we started the advertising, we're at 7,500 per week now. So we picked up interest a lot, people are going to the site. All of our advertising in those 6 weeks was directed at vacations, plan your vacation now, get away to Angel Fire, and then it was keyed upon our balloons over Angel Fire event next weekend, and our 4th of July 250th anniversary celebration. So on those, on responses from Facebook, we've seen 5,000 people express interest in attending the Balloons Over Angel Fire event. About the same number we saw last year at this same time. So that's a good sign. We're spending less money, we're still getting interest. Our click-through is 1.3 million, or 1.3 thousand people saying they're coming for the Creedence. The 4th of July, we're 1,300 people saying they're coming right now. That will pick up in the next week or so. And then we've got another 2,300 people saying they're coming the 4th of July for the actual 4th. So between the two of them, it's 4,000 people saying they're coming for that weekend, 5,000 for balloons. Visitor center staff is picking up dramatically. Right now it's constant that there's visitors in the visitor center, which is kind of nice. We're seeing them from all over the place. A lot have been, so far this summer, have been Colorado, which is kind of strange, and it's not the mountain bike Colorado. We know the bikers come in and ride the park because it's the only park open early, but these are couples and families looking for other things to do, getting out of Colorado and discovering New Mexico. Also good traffic numbers. And the event center, thanks to the Epler crew, is coming together really well. The turf company is there today doing the repairs on the turf. I had some complaints about the turf install, the board around it, some seams. The product itself is held up well. The install could have been done better. They've admitted it, and they're fixing their mistakes. They're in there now. They're putting up the structure for the stage cover today. Again, thank you, Mr. Epler and your crew for your help there. And then Friday is our first event over there, is the AFPO dinner. So the Angel Fire Resort property owners will be there, approximately 300 people for a dinner Friday night. Got caterers coming in, got decorators coming in, bringing tables and chairs and all those things. So for us, it's our first dinner under the tent. It's a good learning experience for us. We gave AFPO a pretty good rate on renting the facility. I will be back, hopefully, in the next couple of council meetings with proposed rates to charge for rent for that facility, because we'll need council approval to put together a rental schedule. But I'm doing research in other communities right now. Any questions for me this evening?
Balloon sponsorship, is it fully sponsored?
No, we've got a couple balloons open.
Still availability?
Yeah, last year we had all 40 filled. This year I think we're at 32 so far, got another one today. We may have them all filled, but our overall sponsorship revenue has grown dramatically because of the title sponsors, the presenting sponsors. There's other things, barricade sponsors, there's other sponsorship levels you can do with the tourism office now. And a lot of people have stepped up in the community and outside the community to help us pull off events and pay for things for us. So thank you, sponsors. If you got one, send them our way. Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. I think we touched on committee reports with our proclamations. We'll move on to new business. Item A, I'd like to open discussion to approve the police department policy manual. Chief Ogre?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council, manager, and clerk. Sent this out early on. I apologize that it's 542 pages long. I know that was quite an endeavor to take a look at each and every detail of this new policy manual. This is a product of approximately 1 year of work. This was sponsored and paid for by the New Mexico Self-Insured Fund through a company that they contracted with, which is Lexipol. Lexipol is the parent company of Police One, Fire One, and other trainings that they offer. They take the information that I gave them and provide it into a templated format, which then we go through and compare to what is the federal law, what is state law, what is best practice, and what is necessary to fit best for the Village of Angel Fire. Because as you can imagine, policy manual for Albuquerque is not going to be the same needs for the village and vice versa. So it's laid out with a table of contents that begins with a chief's preface. It describes what the manual is, what it's for, how it is to provide guidance in many areas of compliance to be within legal standards for the federal, state, and best practices. Majority of it begins in Chapter 3, which is the general operation portions, and Chapter 4, which is the patrol operations. Those are the important ones for us in legal terms of handcuffing, restraints, transports, vehicle pursuits, those type of things which can cause liability if there's not a solid policy given guidance on those kind of things. It also encumbers missing persons report and crime reporting and so forth like that. And then it moves into bias-based policing, hostage and barricaded persons responses, all the way down to things like our body-worn camera policies, which is very important because, as we know, that's required state law now here in New Mexico for the use of those. And then the other portion of the manual, which is Chapter 6, by the way, there are 10 chapters in the manual. Chapter 6, which gives guidance on investigations and those type of operations, use of informants, eyewitness identifications, warrant services, even some things that we don't have but we can utilize through the FBI and other things like facial recognition and things like that. Gives us guidance on how to utilize those. And then the final chapter is more geared or tailored towards the actual personnel portion of the policy, seatbelt use, body armor use, fitness for duty, civilian attire, things like that. Our old manual was actually very good. It was created by former Chief Brad McCaslin and his staff, and I think it filled the role very well during that time period. With the evolution of much legislation and changes, it was time for this to be revisited. I suspect that this manual will probably work well for the next 3 to 4 or 5 years, depending on what the next governor and legislative actions take. It is very amenable to change. It can be minor changes done through directives from the chief. Anything that changes the substance of a particular policy or response or investigative procedure would need to be brought back for ratification through the council, of course. So I'm very proud of the work that was done on this. I can't thank Chuck Miner enough. He was my primary contact through Lexipol on this. And throughout the development of this, we came up with things that we hadn't thought about, such as we utilize chaplains in a way that they hadn't been utilized before. They work with crime victims and they're advocates now. They've had that training through us and through the Community Against Violence of Taos. So we put a section in here about chaplains and their roles and responsibilities. So I guess at this point, I'll just kind of step to the side, so to speak, and ask if there are any particular questions or concerns about the document that I'm presenting for your review and approval.
Did this have to go through legal review with Nan or anyone, or since it came from Municipal League?
You know, that is an excellent question. It was vetted through the Municipal League after it was drafted. They gave a small amount of feedback, and so a couple of changes were made. So that was through the self-insured fund. It also went through our legal counsel, Jamie. Jamie had a lot on her plate, but she did eventually get back to me and said, "Chief, it looks great. I don't see any problems." And then, of course, our resident expert, Councilman Howell, I know, had called me and had a little bit of feedback and discussion there, which I greatly appreciate and respect. Respect all of your positions, but I know Mr. Howell sent it to Pentagon and did documents like this very frequently in his military career, so it was much appreciated.
No questions, Mr. Mayor, just a great product.
Great.
By the way, there will be a test, multiple choice.
Which chapters again?
Not to worry, it's only 342 questions.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
If there's no further questions or discussion, I'll ask for a motion.
Making motion on item A to approve the Police Department Policy Manual.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item A. Mayor Pro Tem Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Item B, I'd like to open discussion to approve the appointment of Teresa Marcusak and Catherine Wiley as voting members of the Workforce Housing Committee. I understand Mayor Pro Tem Crane, who is the liaison on that committee, would like to discuss having one of these nominees as a voting member and one as a non-voting member to keep the balance odd, if that's correct.
Correct. Recently, our longtime chair Elizabeth Ricketson stepped down. We thank her for all the hard work that she put on this committee. She has put in a lot of hours and time, and her work is appreciated, but her travel and family schedule didn't allow her to continue. And Clerk Strickland was very helpful. Apparently, we're getting lots of interest on Facebook in committee members for this committee. So it's great to have two people sign up, but in order to keep the vote to where we don't end in a tie, the recommendation will be that Teresa Marcusak be the voting member and Catherine Weil be a non-voting member. If we have another resignation from the committee, we can simply convert Catherine over to a voting member.
Would that have to be something we would approve, or could it just be done?
Technically, if we were to make him a voting member, we'd need to come back, but it'd be an easy item at that point. If there's no other discussion or questions, I'd ask Mayor Pro Tem to make a motion with that change.
Make a motion to take action on item B, approving the appointment of Teresa Marcusak as a voting member and Catherine Wiley as a non-voting member of the Workforce Housing Committee.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item B. Mayor Pro Tem Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion.
Point of order. We have to vote on the amendment and then vote on the amended language.
Oh,
Well, there wasn't an amendment. We opened it for discussion, he made a motion with that change.
Well, in the discussion, it says that as voting members, so they're not both voting members.
We modified it.
When I made the motion,
He made the motion modified.
okay. Roll call vote, which we did, so then motion passed.
Thank you. Item C, I'd like to have a discussion to approve the master plan for Allen Fields. Shay Tillich.
Okay, good evening again. I'm here on behalf of the Trails and Recreation and Trails Committee and Consensus Planning, who we've been working with in the community. who we had a survey put out with, and it involved in a lot of this planning for the Allen Fields. And I'm here to ask for you guys to approve the master plan that we have put together and that you have in front of you, and that we have consensus planning Ken here. And did he provide you with it, Ileana?
He did, I
Yeah.
have given it to the council, we have color copies.
Okay, all right. So, pretty much what it says in the background facts, we're looking for the municipal master plan for recreational field to provide a long-term strategic roadmap to guide future development, maintenance, and funding. It does align with the community needs, with available resources, and ensuring that we will get optimal facility usage and make good improvements throughout the years and engage the community even more out there at the Allen Fields. If you have any questions specifically, you can ask me, or we have our committee chair here. We have Ken from Consensus up there, and Oliver is here representing the state park and contract.
I will say that this survey, didn't you say, Ken, that this was the biggest input of any survey that we've taken for any projects in Age of Fire?
No, it was a tremendous turnout, so thank you for everybody's effort. Any questions or discussion on the layout?
It mentions the existing dog park to be relocated somewhere, site to be determined later, or?
I believe so. We're talking about the new, that'll let him, yeah.
Mayor, Council, yes, as Director Lear had reported in a previous council meeting, we've actually submitted a grant request for approximately $200,000 to establish a dog park out here at Mountain View Plaza.
So that's why, yeah, that would be, because it was on the larger versions, it was showing it on the Allen Fields. Yeah, we're looking to do that at Mountain View Plaza, that's a good point.
And there's still plenty of room for a dog park if it poses like a need. There's plenty of room in this plan for a future dog park.
This one, with this plan, if I'm not mistaken, it doesn't currently infringe on the existing dog park. What's shown here.
We could have both.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the perimeter trail that the Frank Young Trail, the extension of the Frank Young Trail that I had mentioned that we are wanting to use the Trails Plus grant, the money that we already have for a different trail, just due to location of the trail problems. And we do need to have that funding spent, done by March of 2027. So we'd like to start the engineering, which is what we applied for that grant for the perimeter trail on this plan.
Which also connects to the high school.
Yes, and it was already also approved by the grant people.
Yeah.
People that, yeah, they said that they would approve that switch and accept that.
And Mr. Mayor, Council, it doesn't preclude us from completing the Frank Young Trail extension to connect to it. So it would, if we ever get back to being able to accomplish that goal, this will just be a continuation of that trail.
And I'm not sure who to address this question to, but on the previous version I saw, the road and entrance was a bigger change than what's depicted here. I'm just curious as to what the slight modification to the entrance off of Camino Grande achieves?
The reason is because the fire sprinklers are already in place.
The hydrants.
The fire hydrants
Yeah.
are already,
So that's why I went back to this. Is
Yeah,
it
we
worth-
figured we didn't need to change a whole road just to make it curvy when we have one that's working
So what's the point even changing it from the entrance?
from that entrance. I don't know, I missed that meeting, so I don't know why that change was made. Do you, Ken?
Yeah, so I mean, I get, and directed the question maybe even to Director Epler, but just the expense just to move the encroachment off of Camino Grande, if it's worth the effort, or what the benefits are.
Well, I think the one benefit I could see is if it was in full build out and obviously seeing more traffic, establishing a true T intersection for visibility, which is accomplished with this slight move.
Fair enough.
and it will allow more parking for the rest.
And I do think that was, I missed that meeting, like I said, but I believe that was part of the reason was for parking and people crossing,
Yeah.
that there was a concern with that.
Quite a, if it could ever come to fruition, to be
I
honest.
don't know, well.
There's a lot on there, but I mean, we do have parts that are coming, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see this, on paper. Anything else? Any other questions or discussion? If not, I'd ask for a motion.
Make a motion on item C to approve the master plan for Allen Fields.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item C. Mayor Pro Tem Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
All right, Kurt, you ready? Item D, open discussion to approve resolution 2026-22, bulk water fees. Director Epler.
All right, good evening once again, Mr. Mayor, Council, Clerk Strickland, and Manager Weir. Hopefully my voice will last through these next few agenda items. We have, item D, we're proposing is resolution 2026-22, bulk water fees, and rescinding prior resolutions. Whereas a customer desiring to purchase water in bulk from the village must first sign a bulk water purchase agreement with the Public Utilities Department prior to receiving and hauling water. And whereas bulk water will only be dispensed from a location authorized by the village. And whereas the customer currently pays $15.28 per 1,000 gallons, whereas the CPI report published for December 2025 reports a 2.7 increase for the 2026 calendar year for water, sewage maintenance, and whereas the new rate per 1,000 gallons is $15.69.
How often do people come to fill up tanks for water?
We're getting probably 8 to 10 transactions a day right now.
Is this a cap rate? I mean, the only question I have is maybe looking into maybe in the future being able to charge, water rights fee to tack onto this to collect some sort of fund for the water rights? As
I
well?
think if the council wants to add a new fee, we could do that. There's a process, but we could do it.
Is there Is there any restrictions on where the water can be used? I mean, can somebody just come from anywhere and buy water and go outside the village?
There's not currently.
Yeah, there's no current restrictions.
We could add those if the council wants.
Most common use is gonna be construction or,
Yes. The largest consumers of water have been recently Fisher Construction, doing both of the paving projects. So they're hauling water from here to supply the project to the south. They're done with water on the other one. Also, BTU Concrete gets water pretty regular. And we have Custom Grading Incorporated, who's a subcontractor for Franken Construction. They're doing work at the DAV Memorial right now at the cemetery. And they're got our water accounts. And then a few people come by with smaller tanks on trailers.
That would be the only thing I would want to consider down the line is, you know, we already have our own water issues. Having our water go off to do jobs outside the village seems like that should be a different rate.
I think, well, and so if you look compared to what we're gonna be considering, for minimum billing, number of gallons, you're already, it's slightly higher price per gallon for bulk water than it is if you have a water
I
meter.
noticed that, but
And so, yeah, I think definitely something to keep an eye on if we run up against our, water rights, but I also wanna caution, it'd take a lot of discussion to do that, just like I said, because it is construction, which is a huge contributor to GRT. We'd wanna definitely, have some serious discussion before we did that, but I could understand if we're bumping up against our threshold and things that we have to cut, that could certainly be on the table.
There is opportunity from some of these larger consumers to use treated effluent water. We just need to improve our facility and make it more readily available. But I don't think that project's on hold right now, so.
would that satisfy all current users or could most of the current users use treated effluent water then?
Yeah, I would say yes. I think that people that are coming on smaller vessels, might be supplying for a little cabin or something. But for construction water, I know there are some projects that won't allow effluent water to be used. But as far, I don't think it's an issue down there as, when Kiewit was doing their portion of the work, they were using effluent water. The facility to obtain treated effluent water just isn't suitable right now to load water trucks, plus we have to go through somebody else's property to get to it. Proposed doing a new, option, or loading facility, directly across from the headworks on Camino Grande. It's close, it can stay be monitored, it's not on somebody else's property. Can do it relatively easy, but, it's not one of the things that was approved for this year. Any, questions on resolutions 2026-22?
Now I'd ask for a motion.
Make a motion on item D to approve resolution 2026-22 bulk water fees.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item D. Mayor Pro Tem Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Howell,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay, moving on to item E, I'd like to open discussion to approve resolution 2026-23, water sewer availability rates. Eric Rippler.
Okay, presenting resolution 2026-23, water sewer availability rates and rescinding prior resolutions. Whereas the Village of Angel Fire Ordinance 7-3-5-E.3 and 7-4-2-B.4 requires an annual rate adjustment to be effective each year on July 1 at a rate equal to the Consumer Price Index CPI report for the end of the previous calendar year. And whereas the CPI report published for December 2025 reports a 2.7% increase for the 2026 calendar year for water sewage maintenance. And whereas the current rates, FY '26 rates are to be established as follows. Water availability fee, $13.15 per month, billed quarterly at $39.67. Sewer availability fee, $29.45 per month, billed semi-annually at $176.70. And whereas the new rates, FY '27, are as follows. Water availability fee is $13.86 per month, billed quarterly at $40.74 per month. I'm sorry, quarterly. Sewer availability fee, $30.25 per month, billed semi-annually at $181.47.
So, back to the very first one, water availability fee. I was just doing the math. $13.15 per month billed quarterly should come to $39.45. Looking at the others, at first glance, they look to be
Should be
correct.
45 cents.
39.
I think they took our prior rates and multiplied it by 1.27 to come up with this number, so I don't think they actually did the math to do the monthly rate and multiply it times 4 or times 3. So that's how we'll look at that.
So if the monthly rate is correct, do we know which one is correct? Or should we be reversing it and dividing the $39.67?
Well, those are the current rates. I mean, should we just focus on the new rates?
Oh, it's fair, yeah.
What you could do is just approve the increase, the rate increase.
Trying to see which one's right.
No,
So, Mr. Mayor, Council, if you take the current rate of 39.67 and you multiply it times 1.027, it comes up to 40.74.
Yeah, but then that doesn't match on that one either, because the 1386 times
Yeah.
3 doesn't.
41.58.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at all.
So just which numbers, which one should we be working with?
I guess what we would need to do is go figure out, if we could either pull it up from last year's resolution, but we need to figure out which number is correct, the billed quarterly, or the current monthly, because the 2.7% is what we're doing, but.
Well, the current, and then, the proposed rate is wrong as well. $30.25, $30.25 should be $181.50.
Mr. Mayor, my recommendation would be vote to motion and vote to postpone, and at the next meeting, we'll come back with the answer. But I can't tell you, I think what was done here is they took the old rates, multiplied it times the increase, so these numbers may have been off for who knows how long.
Yeah, that's what we have to be working with. Okay. Yeah, I would suggest we make a motion based on the manager's recommendation.
I'll make a motion on item E to postpone resolution 2026-23 water sewer availability rates.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item E. Mayor Pro Tem Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Hap,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion to postpone passed.
Okay, moving on to item F. Open discussion to approve resolution 2026-31 meter installation charge. Rick Ruppert.
Resolution 2026-31 meter installation charge and rescinding prior resolutions. Whereas the Village of Angel Fire Ordinance 7-3-5-E.3 and 7-4-2-B.4 requires an annual rate adjustment to be effective each year on July 1st at the rate equal to the Consumer Price Index report for the end of the previous calendar year. The CPI report published for December 2025 reports a 2.7 increase for the 2026 calendar year for meter installation. And whereas the following FY26 charges and new FY27 charges are represented below. 5/8 meter size, current FY25 installation charge $2,171.19. New FY26 installation charge, sorry, that should be FY27.
Current should be 26 and new should be 27.
So new FY27 installation charge, $2,229.81. 3/4 meter FY26 charge, $2,329.66. New FY27 installation charge, $2,392.56. 1-inch meter FY26 price $2,622.92. New FY27 installation charge $2,693.74. 1.5 meter FY26 charge $4,431.90. New FY27 charge $4,551.56. 2-inch meter FY26 installation charge $4,830.13. New FY27 installation charge $4,961.31. 3-inch meter current charge FY26 $7,153.61. New FY27 installation charge $7,346.76. 4-inch meter current FY26 installation charge $10,563.71. New FY27 installation charge $10,848.93. 6-inch meter current FY26 installation charge, 6-inch meter $17,222.37. New FY27 installation charge $17,687.37.
Any questions on that one? The math checks from what I can tell.
One of them's off,
Is one of them off? I only did every other one.
the 2-inch one.
So 2 inches up. Yeah. Again, do we know which one we can work with? Well, I believe you are, but I'm gonna check your math.
You'll reread these next week.
What's that?
You'll reread all this next week.
Oh, absolutely.
2 inch. Did you check them all on?
Yeah, that was it.
So you make a motion with that change on the rate scale. So the motion's made, just change the 2-inch meter FY '27 amount to 4960.54.
I guess my question, manager, is how do we know which numbers? Do we know what the current installation charge is for a 2-inch meter? Can we verify that it's currently 4830.13?
That's a good question. I'd have to go pull the rate schedule.
We could move on if you wanna take a look.
Adrian, can you, go ask is Audrey here?
I don't know if they're still here, it's six, I doubt it is 6:35.
We'll just postpone again.
Yeah, I can fix it, I got no problem reading it again.
You don't have, I don't know if that'll be necessary. With these changes though, when we do approve the previous one, we can look at this again at the next meeting. So I would just ask for a motion similar to the previous one.
I'll make a motion on item F to postpone, resolution 2026-31, meter installation charge.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item F. Mayor Pro Tem Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Howell,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion to postpone passed.
And just to update that fiscal year too.
Yes.
I guess we can move on. Item G, I'd open for discussion to approve resolution 2026-32 water sewer rates to include fire domestic use. Director Lafleur.
Resolution 2026-32, water sewer rates to include fire domestic use and rescinding prior resolutions. Whereas the Village of Angel Fire Ordinance 7-3-5-E.3 and 7-4-2-B.4 requires an annual rate adjustment to be effective each year on July 1st at the rate equal to the Consumer Price Index report for the end of the previous calendar year. And whereas the fire protection and domestic use combination meters are now utilized, identifying how usage shall be billed. Whereas the CPI report published for December 2025 reports a 5.1% increase for the 2026 calendar year for water sewage maintenance. And whereas the Village of Angel Fire will propose water and sewer rates at the following schedule. Schedule of water rates fiscal year 27. 5/8 meter, current rate is $41.44 for minimum billing per month. The new rate is $43.55 for up to 4,000 gallons. Next meter should read 3/4. Okay, 3/4 meter current price is $51.71. New rate is $54.35 for 5,000 gallons. 1-inch meter current is $72.41. New rate is $76.10 for 7,000 gallons. 1.5 meter current $92.97. New rate $97.71 for up to 9,000 gallons. 2-inch meter current $142.27. New $149.53 for up to 14,000 gallons. 3-inch meter current $239.62. new rate $251.84, up to 24,000 gallons. 4-inch meter, current $399.30, new rate $419.66 for 40,000 gallons. 6-inch meter, current $665.38, new $699.31 for up to 40,000 gallons.
Kurt, I'll stop you right there. We've already found a mistake on this one too, so I'm gonna ask for a similar motion, as the previous.
It's the 4-inch meter on page 2 of this resolution.
Mayor Pro Tem, do you make a motion?
Make a motion to postpone, resolution 2026-32, water sewer rates to include fire and domestic use.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item G. Mayor Pro Tem Crane.
Aye.
Counselor Howell.
Aye.
Counselor Weeks.
Aye.
And Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion to postpone passed.
Kurt, in an effort to save your voice too, I think I'm gonna ask that we just postpone, make motions to postpone, the remaining items up to,
Yes, it's just
up to the
H.
holiday schedule. We'll do, G, H,
And I.
not to say that they're wrong, but at this point, we're gonna be revisiting them all in the next meeting.
Absolutely, and there's one missing also that'll be on the next one.
The 3/4, we'll just get the details right on these resolutions. So I would ask for a motion on item H.
Do you want me to motion those together or separate motions and votes on H and I?
I think it's okay together.
Okay, I make a motion to postpone item H and I, approving resolution 2026-34, schedule of tap fees for multifamily structures, and resolution 2026-35, solid transfer rates.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call vote on, to postpone items H and I. Mayor Pro Tem Crane.
Aye.
Counselor Howell.
Aye.
Counselor Weeks.
Aye.
And Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion to postpone items H and I passed.
Sorry about that, Director. We'll get it straightened out and bring it back before the council. Moving on to item J. I'd like to, open discussion to approve resolution 2026-42, FY 27 holiday schedule.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, and Village Manager. So before you is the holiday schedule for village staff. There are 13 holidays that the village grants us employees. I do have the schedule breakdown, and this year in addition, a nice little visual calendar for staff. Would you like me to go over the 13 holidays?
You can real quick.
Okay, so it's gonna be Friday, July 3rd is gonna be Independence Day. We have September 7th is Labor Day. October 13th of 26 is Columbus Day, or also known as Indigenous Peoples' Day. We've got November 11th, which is Veterans Day. November 26th as well as November 27th, that's gonna be Thanksgiving Day and the day after Thanksgiving. We have December 25th, Christmas. We have January 1st of 27, that's gonna be New Year's Day. January 18th of 27 is gonna be Martin Luther King. February 15th of 27 is President's Day. March 26th of 27 is Good Friday. May 31st of 2027 is Memorial Day. And lastly, we have June 18th of 2027, an observation for Juneteenth, which is actually June 19th. And I'll stand for any questions.
No questions, I'd ask for a motion to approve.
I make a motion on item J, approving resolution 2026-42, FY 27 holiday schedule.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item J. Mayor Pro Tem Crane.
Aye.
Counselor Howell.
Aye.
Counselor Weeks.
Aye.
And Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
All right. I'd like to open item K for discussion. This is to approve resolution 2026-43, rent for the workforce housing.
Mayor Lindsay, council, Manager Ware, Strickland. Mr. Strickland, would you like to proceed? Okay, so what we have in front of you here is Resolution 2026-43, and the purpose of this resolution is to establish rents for the workforce housing for the next 24 units that are gonna be erected this summer. And so on this resolution, we have a 12-month, a 6-month, and a 3-month lease that is being proposed. And before we go there, I'd like to point you to the budget page that was just passed out to you. And the reason being is that when we looked at these rental rates, I brought this budget page to our workforce housing committee. And the purpose of that was to look at the expected revenue in FY27 for all the homes. There's different dates, as you can see there. And then looking at the expenses and looking at the bottom line after looking at the revenue compared to the expenses, estimating the 1375 rents. Looks like we didn't have anything left at the end of the year. Proposing that we're gonna put in $7,800 a month into paying off the $500,000 loan from the general fund. So looking at all that, we kind of got stuck on 1375. However, this is your decision, and I'd like to just open up for discussion and if there's any other recommendations for rents.
A little bit of context, the Workforce Housing Committee discussion there on the 7 homes, the rents could actually be cheaper because we're purchasing those homes. The 17 homes, the number was higher because we are essentially financing those through sustainability partners. So the feeling of the committee was to just normalize the rents between the 7 and the 17, since they're essentially all coming in this year. So that there wasn't a difference between the two, so it did technically move the rents on the 7 up. And then obviously, down the road, the initial 6 homes, if those rents need to be adjusted after the terms of their leases up, that's something that we could consider. But that was where the 1375 came from, was to kind of split the difference between the next 2 sets of homes.
What is the current rent for the 1 year on the?
1,100 is the top line here. The 6 homes at 1,100 each, rented 12 months. Those are all currently occupied at that rate.
Okay.
And that's for a full year from July 1 to June 30. Whereas the remaining 24 homes are expected to be occupied at October 1. So it was less months.
Was it also an increase on the 6 and 3 month, or is that the same as it was originally on the 6?
It's about the same percentage, so using 1375 as the baseline, Director Lira then calculated up what a 6 and 3 month kicker should be essentially.
I'm sorry, Manager.
Mr. Mayor, Council, yeah, I would want to say in the original 6 homes, there is a different quality of home. Primarily the reason that affects the person renting is the R values in the home in these newer homes is higher. So I think their utility bills will be lower. And so I think that needs to be taken into consideration, when time comes for us to address the rents on the first 7 homes. The remaining 24 homes are the same manufacturer, same standard and everything, so. But the first 6 were different standard for insulation.
Fair enough. Any other questions or comments? No, I'd ask for a motion.
Make a motion on item K, approving resolution 2026-43, rent for workforce housing.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item K. Mayor Pro Tem Crane,
Aye.
Councilor Howe,
Aye.
Councilor Weeks,
Aye.
and Councilor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Moving on to item L, like open discussion to approve additions to the workforce housing governance. Mr. Lira.
Again, Mayor Lindsay, Council, Manager Weir. And what you have there is the existing workforce housing the governance document. And so the Workforce Housing Committee has requested to add 2 rules to this existing governance document. Rule number 1 is they would like to rule out TVs being mounted on the walls of the homes, being that the walls of these homes are panels rather than drywall. And so if there's any holes in these walls upon their departure on a new lease, we'd have to replace the whole panel. And so they would recommend that maybe we just add a rule there not to allow mounting of TVs on the walls. The second rule was to force them to use command hooks to hang pictures instead of nails and screws on the walls. If you look on page 4 of the governance, that is where that language is, and that's the only language that was changed on this governance document. Interior wall hanging policy.
Okay. Questions? All right, I'd ask for a motion.
Make a motion on item L, approving additions to the workforce housing governance.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item L. Mayor Pro Tem Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Howell,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay, moving on to item N, which was a discussion to approve resolution 2026-45, various budget adjustment requests. Director Rendon.
Yes, and actually, item N and O are the same thing. They're the budget adjustment requests, just like we've seen before, so.
Open discussion for item O as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So if you have any questions about these adjustments, I can address them, but it's basically just us aligning the funds within each of our accounts.
Any questions or discussion? I'll ask for a motion.
I make a motion on item N and O, approving resolution 2026-45 and 2026-46, various budget adjustment requests.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item N and roll call vote on item O. Mayor Pro Tem Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Howell,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry. Motion passed on item N and O.
Finally, this evening, our manager's report, Andrew Weir.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Council, I've got several things to report. First of all, I'm surprised that Director Epler didn't jump all over this, but we did receive approval for our application to the Water Trust Board for Monteverde Lake water line replacement, phase 1 in the amount of $5.6 million. By the time we're near an engineering or anything, I don't know that we'll be able to get started on this this summer, and if we do, it'll be late. There might be some prep work. But my speculation is we're probably gonna hit it hard next spring and start replacing the lines that are predominantly 2 and 3 inch in the area, in the Monteverde Lake area on the, I believe this phase 1 is on the west side of Monteverde Lake, and phase 2 will be on the east side. So that's really great. At one point, we got removed from the list. We went through a presentation process, and we were able to get back on the list and get this approved. So a lot of thanks to the finance department, who worked hard to show our numbers and that we could afford to repay this loan. And a lot of thanks to Kurt Epler, who worked with us and worked with the state to assure the importance of that loan. We are also, just to let you know, we had a meeting with USDA this week. We are working to get or considering another loan that would be funded by the new rate increase if it passes in the November election, to build a event center. And if in November that's approved, we'll immediately apply for the loan through the USDA. Our goal is next summer to start construction on a new event center at Mountain View Plaza. I will, if you haven't heard, the Cimarron Watershed Alliance, which is a nonprofit group that is designed to support the Cimarron watershed, Cimarron River and so on, they did receive a $10 million grant from the federal forestry to do thinning, to reduce fuels and fire prevention. A portion of that was intended to do egresses within the village of Angel Fire. They really have struggled, the money, they've got the agreement from the feds. It's being managed by state forestry, and state forestry has been a challenge, let me put it that way. And right now, they're already 2 years into this money, almost 2 years into this money, without having been able to spend it, and they only have 5 years to spend the 10 million. So we are building a coalition with the resort and other agencies to go down to Santa Fe and to see what kind of pressure we can apply on state forestry to allow them to release the money so the Cimarron Watershed Alliance can start working on it. I will tell you part of it, without getting into too many details, was that the Cimarron Watershed Alliance had 3 findings in their last audit. Having been through 8 or 9 audits, maybe actually closer to 10 in my career, the 3 items on theirs are not significant items, or none of them are financial in nature. They're all policy and procedure. There is one audit based on separation of duties, just because they're a very small organization. It's hard for us to maintain separation of duties, and they're a 1/10 of our size. So I'm not sure what the real reasoning is behind that. We suspect things, but I just want to let you know we may be asking for your support to make phone calls if our mission down to Santa Fe is not successful. Another thing is we continue the negotiations with the Village of Eagle Nest on our EMS agreement. They did send us on May the 3rd, they sent us an agreement that the night before, actually, the May 4th meeting.
Oh, before the.
Yeah, so they sent us that. We sent a response back on May 18th, and then last Thursday, they sent a counter proposal. The bottom, the short of it is the counter proposal was totally unacceptable, and if you'd like, I'll share with you the reasons why. We itemized them in quite a bit of detail and shared that with the Village of Eagle Nest. And we sent that email out this morning, and we're waiting on a reply to that. Hopefully they'll be able to respond quickly enough that we can get this solved, but again, the public should be aware that if we're not able to enter into an agreement by June 30th, we will stop servicing the Village of Eagle Nest except in mass incident situations, like a multi-car accident or something like that. So it's very important, and hopefully they'll respond a little quicker since time is short. We also are starting, Chief Vance was here, and I know he would love to come up and tell you more about it, but it wasn't his meeting, but I do want to tell you that we are pouring, we should be pouring cement on the new fire station this week. They're already out there working and prepping the ground for that pour.
Just a point of order, they're gonna start forming next week, this next week, not actually pouring concrete.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's, anyhow, the latest information, they are out there and they're working on that. For the building itself, we have, there were 6 shipments, I believe, and we've received 2 of them. And the other 4 should be coming in, if not this week, the first part of next week. The vendor has had challenges finding drivers to drive the equipment from Houston to here. So that is another challenge that the fire station is meeting. We have been working with the Veterans Wellness Group on the expansion that they have in their facility. we've gotten even though I haven't got the final paperwork, we've transferred the well that's on their property from Veterans Wellness to the village. And we will be working with them. Right now, we're trying to assess the involvement that may be needed from our engineering staff. And in order to keep that program moving, but I can tell you the Veterans Wellness Board is working very hard and in a positive manner to keep that thing moving forward. And those are the items I have to share.
All right, thank you, Manager Weir. That meeting is adjourned.